What is up, everybody? Welcome to the halftime hangout coined by world's greatest co-host, who is back in the hot seat today, Michael Basham. What is up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? First and foremost, thank you, JD, for wishing me a happy birthday yesterday. Everybody else in the league that wished me a happy birthday, I appreciate it. Jay, thanks for coming on, kind of in my place, and holding down the fort for a hump day hangout. And I watched it today, and it was actually very good. I was impressed, and it was kind of neat to watch it from, an angle where I wasn't actually in the show. I kind of enjoyed it more. And this will be pretty neat. A little halftime hangout. We're going to try and squeeze everything in halftime. I'm not in the best mood right now, though. Flacco is killing me. Who would have thought? So we'll see if he can turn it on in the second half.
Yeah, hopefully one day I'll get to watch one. Maybe you and Jay can hammer one down. But
yeah.
You know what I liked about Jay's appearance? He didn't try to replace you. He just tried to be his own co-host.
He absolutely was, yeah.
Great job by Jay. Happy to have you back. I kind of like the 2 mini shows idea. And you already gave your thoughts on yesterday's show. So we really just need to dig into this week's trades. And at the end, we're going to have the big reveal. Well, I feel like we've been hyping it for at least a year.
Yeah.
The idea kind of came into my brain last season, and it's the trophy to end all trophies. Let me just say that right away. We almost went with a golden pineapple that I found one time at my parents' antique co-op. And then I asked Basham if he wanted it, and by the time he told me, someone had bought it after it probably was sitting there for like a year. No one wanted it. I found it. But this one's so much of an improvement. I'm glad somebody bought the golden pineapple, and we're ready to roll.
We ready?
Yep. So let's just jump right into the first trade that went down on a huge week of trades. Polino gets Marshawn Lynch, DeMarco Murray, and Darren Sproles, and he gives up Carlos Hyde, Odell Beckham Jr., Joke Bell, and $10. Let's just get your thoughts right away. Tell us why you made the trade, why you like the trade, everything that went into it from your end.
This was very difficult for me. Obviously, Lynch and Murray were starting to get to me. For a first and second round pick, they were very disappointing. Slow starts, and then the injuries came on, so it just added on to it for me. And everybody knows that I'm really high on my running backs. I feel like I'm really deep at running back. So I was willing to, roll the dice with Lynch and Murray to get rid of them. Polino, I've been talking to him for the past few weeks, along with Catco. I kind of gave up with Matt Vay, and then Sterner a little bit here and there, Billy here and there. But Polino was really, into some thoughts in previous weeks, but he just wasn't ready to pull the trigger yet. So we really pounded it out yesterday morning, with talks. And I'm not huge on Hyde. I was big on him in the preseason, and they seem to use him a lot. However, just lately, the San Francisco offense is terrible, and they've been playing from behind. I'm not too afraid about Bush. I don't think that he's going to eat into Hyde's work too much. So I was willing to roll the dice there. ODB was the big selling point for me. I mean, I got Demarius, Edelman, and ODB now. I mean, those are the best three wide receivers those are the best wide receiver group in the league, hands down, not even close. So that gives me an advantage every single week. And I feel like Dion Lewis, Gurley, even Woodhead, Spiller, I feel like that group, I can get 2 of those in my starting lineup every week. Maybe get 10 points from both of them, and 30 points from my running backs during the week. I feel like that could get me a win. I've been at about 130, 140 points to start the year. I feel like if I can keep that, I'll be good. And with those 3 wide receivers that I have now, I feel like that can propel me to a bigger week here and there. Joyke Bell was just kind of thrown in there. If Abdullah goes down, he's not a huge back, so it was just another piece to add in there. He could have value if Abdullah goes down. The $10 fab just was, I don't really care about fab, but, he threw it in there just to kind of even it out because Sproles is, a top 15 back. He has a defined role. in Philly, so he was worth something. Polino was hard to budge with the whole Sproles end of it, but I was willing to pull the trigger just because I was starting to get tired of Lynch and Murray. But I really like my team now. Plus, with those wide receivers, people in our league tend to be really high with the wide receivers. I don't understand that. And I know that I kind of am contradicting myself here. However, a lot of people are high on the wide receivers. So if I need to move one of these big guys, I still have right on my bench. Djax is coming back. I picked up Rashard Matthews. I think that this would work out for me in the end. And then Jay mentioned Alfred Blue last night. I know I dropped $15 on him. If Foster doesn't go this week, I really needed another running back this week with Dion Lewis on bye. He's playing Atlanta. If Foster doesn't go, he's a great running back play this week. And then Foster, who his injury history, he could go down again in a week or two. So it was worth the investment for me to throw $15 out there on him.
Holy cow. Well, I think halftime's over.
Yeah.
Let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of thoughts to unpack from that, but the biggest thing I think is you're definitely right in that you're contradicting yourself. You're getting all over Nick Clark for accumulating receivers, which are the things that matter least in the league. And now you're just hyping all these guys on your bench. You didn't even trust Kendall Wright last week. You picked Nate Washington over him, which Jay was right. That was, I forget what he said. Imbecile? Did he call you an imbecile?
I forget what he said.
He used a pretty good word.
Yeah.
And yeah, the biggest thing about all these trades for me is it's just a big divergence from everybody's previous strategy. You were really hoarding the running backs, going running back heavy. And then all of a sudden now you're dealing them for wide receivers, which you always claim don't matter. You're grabbing OBJ. Polino went with the 2 quarterback strategy. Luck was his first overall pick, and he's just so quick to abandon that and go to the running backs. And then Catco's going away from Peterson and Foster to get the quarterback, which is very smart. We'll talk about that trade later. But, everyone really just shuffled their cards around. And I think this trade is great for Polino if one of those 2 running backs he grabbed is like a top 7 running back. Because I don't really think losing Odell Beckham is going to hurt him that much. And if he can upgrade on Hyde, he was really hurting at running back. So this is exactly what he needs. He's still going to have Brady and Romo at the end of the year. He just needs to make sure he gets enough wins to get into the playoffs.
Right.
On your end, I do honestly, I don't mind the risk, but I'm concerned because all of your running backs are either guys in a timeshare or guys on a bad team. And I mean, traditionally, and usually always, the best fantasy running backs are guys on a great team that are going to get the lead and then they're going to pound the rock. Now, for a guy like Spiller, where his team's going to be behind, being the pass-catching running back helps.
Right.
But there's going to be weeks when Dion Lewis isn't used because they're up so much, they're just going to pound Blunt. Gurley is still probably never going to get the full workload just because he's coming off that ACL injury. So I think there's a lot of factors in this, and you're going to have just a terrible headache deciding which running backs to start each week. Just last week, you're yelling at me saying Murray doesn't look slow. He doesn't look not explosive. Then Ryan Matthews comes in behind the same offensive line and bam, just tears apart the Jets. A great run defense. So I think you, A, owe me an apology. And B, you really pulled the wool over Polino's eyes if Lynch and Murray both end up being busts. And pretty much your reputation is at stake with this one trade.
Yeah, I do have a lot at risk here. I'm honestly putting most of my stock into Gurley. I really feel like they're going to start to ride him in St. Louis. And I know he plays on a bad team, but he is literally a very rare talent. We're talking AP talent here. And they're going to pound the rock with him. They're going to focus their offense around him. Spiller, they came out and said that they're going to try to use him more. Sean Payton wasn't really happy. But like I said,
people have been saying that about Spiller for 6 years.
True. But like I said, I just need like 10 points out of each of those guys and I'll be fine. And I feel like based on their pass catching rules. 5 catches for 50 yards. There's 10 points right. There's almost 10 points right there. I'm fine with it.
But
Like you said, it's a huge risk, but it's a risk that I was willing to take here.
how do you explain the flip flop from your whole strategy being 3 beast running backs to now you just won 10 points out of 2 guys?
Because my 2 beast running backs weren't beasts at all. And I feel like I have the running back depth where I could have got rid of them and still get production from the running backs on my bench, basically.
Now, since you think running back is more valuable than wide receiver, don't you think you could have traded just one of Lynch or Murray for a top 10 wide receiver?
I tried that. Nobody was budging.
Well, that's because you sold low. You got to wait till they have a. First of all, I have a hard time believing someone wouldn't get Lynch for a top 10 wide receiver.
I tried some things with Matt Vey for Hopkins. I think Murray for Hopkins. He wouldn't pull the trigger.
I mean, I would have traded you AJ Green for Marshawn Lynch.
Would you?
Yeah.
See, Lynch was. I don't know.
And I don't know. I think that probably is a better deal for you than also giving up. I mean, I don't know. It all depends how you feel about Murray. So right. I think I don't know if I was getting in your head or just the Eagles situation was getting in your head, but you really took a nosedive on Murray really quick.
It was just the whole freaking, they're my first and second round picks, and they weren't giving me diddly squat. It was just really getting on my nerves.
So could this be a classic Nick Clark early season panic?
No, it's not quite to that extent.
Well, all I have to say is we will see.
Yeah, that's only time will tell here.
When Nick Clark does it, he doesn't think that it's a Nick Clark classic panic either. So, Nick, there's your weekly reference that you do every week, by the way. I wish you could have kept watching, but him and Madvey had some terrible technical difficulty. Slippery Rock is in like the Bermuda Triangle for hangouts or something.
Seriously, though.
Let's move on to the next trade. We have Polino and Catco. Polino gets Arian Foster, his lover, Ryan Fitzpatrick, LeGarrette Blount, and Jared Cook, who I think he dropped right away. Catco gets Andrew Luck, the muscle hamster, Anquan Bolden, who he always seems to love for some reason, and Darren Sproles. So, very interesting deal. I kind of like how Polino approaches it, but I still think he loses the trade.
Yeah, I think so also. I mean, if you look at his running backs right now, all 3 are banged up. He's got Foster, who isn't even back yet. He's got Lynch, who has a bum knee and a bum calf. He's got Murray, who has a bum hamstring. Matthews just went out and tore it up. Sproles, they're saying, is going to get like 12 to 15 touches every week now. I mean, his running backs are rough right now. They're 3 like elite running backs, but they're not performing up to where you would expect. And he now has to start McCown or Fitzpatrick weekly. I mean, that could be really rough for him. But yeah, Catco, outside of Sanders, his running back, his wide receiver group is pretty rough right now. Rivers and Luck are a pretty good combination, if you ask me. If it were last season, though, Rivers has been down right now. Luck's been down. Luck does not look good at all. And then he has the Gore and Luck combo. I mean, that's I don't know how I feel about that. And then he's going to have to start probably Sproles as his running back 3. So I don't know. I do think that Catco wins in this trade, but I don't know if it really helped out either team immensely.
I think it makes Catco we all wrote Catco off before this trade, and I think it brings him back into the playoff picture. With Polino, what I'm looking at is Polino has consistently made the playoffs and faltered. If 2 of these 3 running backs hit, that's how you win a championship, is by having 3 stud running backs that produce big points in the playoffs, because that's something that the other teams can't match. It's almost impossible to beat a team that's all around good, and then they add 3 great running backs. That's how I've won a lot of the time, and maybe that's what Polino's looking at. Luck was disappointing. I'm just shocked that he traded him for – I mean, Foster hasn't even played yet, and he's hurt already. So that's a big risk for Polino. I feel like if he just waited another week or two, he could have got a much better return for Luck, including probably a better quarterback back in addition to a good running back one.
Yeah.
So this trade is puzzling. I feel like these Norwin guys always kind of break a deal for each other. Like
Yeah.
it seems like I think last year Polino like kind of gave Jeff like a little bit extra or something since they were friends. I don't. Maybe it's just how Polino trades,
I
but
feel like you're right.
and I'm not saying it's intentional or planned
Right. It's
or
just
collusion, but I don't know. It brings both of them kind of more towards the middle of the pack, if you ask me. I think Polino's team has maybe the most upside in the league, but I think he's going to fall to 1-3 and be a legitimate chance to not make the playoffs.
Plus, I mean, you got to look at bye weeks too. Look at who's on his bench. He doesn't have a single running back on his bench that he can really. Well, Blunt now, I guess, but it could be rough for him.
Blunt and Brady is like the one running back quarterback combination that's really good.
Yeah.
Because Brady's going to throw for a ton of touchdowns. Then
Blunt's just going to pound it.
Get like 100 carries.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, these are two of the more interesting trades, maybe all time, in terms of, I don't know. They feel lopsided, but I can see how they would work out for the other person too.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And then today we just got another bomb dropped on us. Matvey acquires Matt Forte, Brandon Cooks, and Devontae Adams, and Sterner gets C.J. Anderson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Mike Wallace. Matvey's favorite player, Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he traded him.
I know.
So who do you think wins this one?
I think that Matvey really got a steal here. I mean, Forte is awesome. He's really the workhorse in Chicago. And CJ Anderson was struggling. I mean, he gave up Hopkins, but Cooks, he's been underwhelming to start the season, but he's a target monster down in New Orleans. Even though they've really been spreading it out, he is by far the best option. And then Devontae Adams, with the emergence of Ty Montgomery in Green Bay, who knows how much he's going to get used once he does get healthy. I mean, even whenever he was the number 2 option in that first game, he really didn't do a ton. And that's going to be a huge headache for Matvey, trying to pick between Devontae Adams and James Jones on a weekly basis for his wide receiver 3. And then Sterner gave up Forte for Anderson. Anderson sucks. He did get Hopkins, but he gave up Cooks, who Hopkins is obviously better. He's a better option. He's just more talented, but Cooks is not that far behind him. And Mike Wallace, he just sucks. I don't know. Matvey gets a hard on for him, but I don't like Wallace, especially in Minnesota's offense. So I think that Matvey really won out on this deal.
I do like it for Matvey because he got the best player.
Yeah.
But I also think that C.J. Anderson is a really strong bounce back candidate. I think he's been hurt. I know Hillman looks good, but I mean that's going to be a rushing offense once they get it figured out. And Anderson was awesome last year. I have a hard time believing that he's not going to put up some big games from here on out, even if he is splitting carries. I think he's the guy. And Hopkins, he just has the kind of the AJ Green this past week potential every week. And when Foster comes back, it might open things up a little bit more. I don't know. So I can definitely see it from Sterner's perspective, but I do like it for Matvey. He got the best player, even though he plays for the worst team, the Bears. I usually hate to acquire talent on the terrible teams, but Forte literally is the only thing they have outside of Alshon Jeffrey, who Jimmy Clausen throwing to Alshon Jeffrey is just a nightmare for my team.
Yeah.
Forte is just, he gets the ball in every single way. He's a beast, and he might get traded. There's rumors. If he goes to Dallas, then he's probably a top 3 running back.
Yeah. Could you imagine him behind that offensive line? Oh, my God.
I know. It would be unbelievable, especially once Romo gets back. That would be like easily my favorite offense. If Dez came back.
Right.
Dez, Romo, and Forte. Oh, my God. Anyway, before I get too hard, any final thoughts on what else is going around the league in this week?
I don't have a ton of thoughts. Just a funny story, though. Matvey was texting me this morning because he was bored at work, asking about a trade. Want to talk trade. I'm so bored out of my mind. I want to trade. So we were talking, and then he said, what would you give me for whoever, Hopkins and CJ Anderson? And I was like, I don't know. And then he said that he had a deal in place with somebody else. Would I be able to beat it? And I said, well, who's it with? What's the deal that you're getting? And he never wants to tell me his deals. I don't know if anybody else really goes about it that way. So I asked him to see if I could beat it. And then he said, dude, you got to give me your word that you're not going to go and try and trade this person then. And I was like, that didn't even cross my mind. And then he was like, all right, well, Sterner's trying to trade me Forte and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, dude, that's a steal. And then not kidding you, moments later, Sterner texted me, hey, what would you give me for Forte? And then Matt Fay texted me, dude, you're such a douchebag. You really went and texted Sterner after I said that you wouldn't do that? Oh my God. It was so funny. I was like, dude, I didn't do anything.
Wow. That's like completely opposite of how me and Catco went about negotiations the other day. I had a deal essentially in place for Arian Foster, and I welcomed Catco to shop it around and try and get a better deal, because I felt like if anyone's giving up more than I'm giving him,
then that helps your team.
Yeah, because I think that they're going to lose. I pretty much offer what I can. I never really try to rip somebody off. And so I offered him what I could, and I figured if anyone else makes a better trade, that's fine. I welcomed him to even post it to the trade room, ask around, and lo and behold, Polino trades with him for something I couldn't come close to matching, and I think Polino lost out. So I'm happy that Catco got what he was looking for.
Right.
I just think that that's the best way to trade.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of you guys beating my deals. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah, like if I would have beat his deal, which me and Sterner had something, but I just couldn't pull the trigger. I couldn't do 2 trades in a week, dude. I couldn't do it. Like if I'm gonna beat your trade, well, Matvey, if you want it that bad, come back and beat mine. Don't get upset that Sterner was looking to make his team better. And it's just how it is.
Well, I mean, I have to say, I feel like you side more with the Matvey school of trading there than my side of trading. You would also be secretive about it.
No, I'm open to telling people. I mean, Catco texted me the other day about something, and I told him, what Polino was going to give me.
Yeah, it's not really a flaw. I can
Yeah.
see the reason to be secretive, because if you don't think your trade is good enough, then other people's you want to keep it under wraps. But that's a big red flag for the person you're trading with.
Right.
They should shop it.
Yeah. Good point.
All right, very interesting. And I think we've come to pretty much the moment of truth. We want to get back to the football game here.
Yeah.
See how $31 Michael Vick's doing. And it's the moment everyone's been waiting for. I've been very excited to reveal this. This was going to be your birthday present if you were on the show, but it's a day late, and it's
That's
also
fine. That's fine.
It's also kind of a terrible present because you might never get your hands on it.
Oh, this year I am.
All right, so without further ado, here is the scrotum poll.
That is awesome. That is so good.
Let me get my chair out of the way. All right. Look at that guy. Now, you can't tell from the picture here, but this one is significantly large. Actually, you can now. This one is significantly larger than the other one. So I had to weigh the little one down with some rocks or stuff. While we're on, let's finalize the rivalry bet.
Okay.
How the scrotum poll is going to work.
Okay. How? What are your thoughts?
So I think every time we play, the loser has to place something that's evenly weighted as everything else we're going to place.
Okay.
Into their sack, weighing their sack down, and lifting the victor's sack into the air.
Yeah.
All right. So every game. And then the person it goes to, do we want it to be the person who is winning the all-time sack record or who won the season?
I think it should be who won the season.
Yeah, because then otherwise you'd never get it.
Yeah, right.
Right. So are we going to determine the season strictly by week 13, or is it going to be by the cumulative?
Well, what if we only play each other twice and we split it 1-1?
Yeah, then it's got to go to aggregate score.
Yeah.
We can determine that.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Just go one and we'll do cumulative both times that we play.
That's how it'll look.
And then total points or something.
Yeah. Now we have the option. We can somehow get our faces on either maybe up here.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we determined that the loser this year had to pay for the buffalo testicles.
Yes.
All right. It was like 25. It was like, yeah, $25 is fine.
$25 for scrotums. Who would have thought that would be the market for scrotums?
Yeah, and let me tell you, this one over here is a spring sack. You can judge by the amount of hair. This one is a summer sack. I think, or maybe it's switched, but I forget. There was a description on eBay. The summer sack has less hair, which probably is this one, actually. It has more hair, but less per sack than this one. Okay, so also the loser has to ceremoniously comb or polish the victor's sack.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they also have to lick their own.
I like
Not
that.
actually their own, like one of these two.
Yeah, one of the, yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine we both want the big sack.
Yeah, I think that's more suiting for me, probably.
It goes to the winner.
Okay.
Whoever wins this year, the cards are all on the table.
Okay, yeah. I'm
to the victor go the spoils. They get to
or the big sack.
They get to pick their sack.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I don't think we really missed anything. This totem pole in the middle, we could definitely renovate. It needs a little bit of a paint job.
Yeah.
But, for now, I'm a big fan. Did you also see there's like a naked lady on the top?
Oh, nice. I did not see that. We should put somebody's face on that we graduated with, kind of like the Shiva.
Or Donna Cable.
Yes. Great idea.
Sorry, Bill. We love you.
Yeah.
I was never even in on that joke until this year when I got mad at Billy for trading Jeff for me.
True.
And now it's on.
Yep.
So this will be proudly displayed in my home until week 13, when it'll then go to whoever comes out on top.
Yep. I like it a lot. Everybody needs to take notes. You all are terrible rivals. I mean, me and JD have set the bar extremely high. You know, we started off last year. We had the best bet probably. We stuck to it, you know, and now we took it another step above with this trophy. You guys need to step up big time. Your rivalries are boring.
They are very boring. That it just can't match what we've come up with.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see somebody try.
Right.
I feel like, you know, there's a lot of funny, clever, smart individuals in our league.
Yep.
And I'm going to open this up. Next season, if any two people want to be a rival, I will switch them all around. If we get two people that really want to be rivals and are going to take it seriously,
yeah,
I will pair you together. We can blow the whole pairings up right now. If you want to be a rival with somebody, we'll make it happen, because we want to get the best, greatest rivalries, ones that are as intense and take it as seriously as me and Bajam, or at least halfway, 50% even would be great.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even have a kale smoothie at the draft this year. It can't go just some chicken fried up for him. But, you know, better than what everyone else did, but still lacking.
Yes, very much so.
So I hope you all enjoyed the unveiling of the scrotum poll. My dog was when they were unboxed. She like stay away from them. So I feel like they might inhabit some like insects or something over the years. They're not very squishy. They're quite hard, like sun dried.
Yeah, I'm curious to feel them and grope them.
Well, don't worry, you'll be feeling them at the end of the season with your comb and polisher and with your tongue.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I can't wait till Joe Flacco throws a last minute interception just to
I think he threw a touchdown here.
just to clinch the scrotum pole. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching the halftime hangout. Basham, thanks for making time in your week, as always.
Oh, no problem.
Good luck this weekend.
You got it.
We might be watching some football on Sunday. If anyone wants to join, I'll be at home.
Yeah.
And, yeah, catch you guys later.
See you guys.